Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something important, navigating that whole complex, sometimes overwhelming world of medical school admissions.
That's right.
Specifically, we're diving deep into MBBS admissions right here in Haryana. So if you're dreaming of that white coat or maybe helping someone who is, think of this as your, well, essential guide.
Yeah, absolutely. Haryana's become a really interesting kind of dynamic place for medical education. It's pulling in students not just from Haryana itself, but, from all over India.
Right.
So our mission today really is to cut through all the confusion, unpack the key things you need to know about getting an MBBS seat here. We're talking admissions, process, costs, the whole picture.
Okay, let's jump right in then. One of Haryana's big defining features. It's an open state for MBBS admissions. Now that sounds simple, maybe, but what does it actually mean for you, the student, especially if you're not from Haryana?
Yeah, that open state thing, it's not just a label. It's a pretty big deal strategically, especially when you look at the private medical colleges.
Yeah.
So in those private institutions, yes, 50% of seats are for Haryana domicile candidates, people from the state. But the other 50%, they're completely open. Anyone can compete for them based on their NEET score, no matter where they're from.
Wow. Okay.
And here's the kicker. The course fee, the MBBS fee, it's exactly the same for both state quota students and the ones coming in through that open 50%.
No difference in fees.
Not in the private colleges for that open quota versus the state quota. So for a non-Haryana student, this basically doubles your private college options without hitting you with higher fees. It creates a really competitive space, sure, but also one full of opportunity if you're well prepared.
That's huge information for anyone looking broadly. And speaking of opportunity, it looks like Haryana is really building up its medical infrastructure, isn't it?
It definitely is.
We're hearing about a potential new government medical college, Pleetneki Ramshrama in Bhiwani, maybe getting approval for the 2025-26 session.
That's a projection, yes.
Plus, we just saw 2 new ones come online last year, right? Amrita School of Medicine in Faridabad and Maharishi Markandeshwar in Sadapur, each with 150 seats.
That's right. 2023-24 saw those additions. Big ones, too.
So does all this expansion make it easier to get a seat? Or does it just raise the bar for those top government places?
That's a really good question. I mean, the total number of seats is definitely growing. The NMC, the National Medical Commission, they've already updated their site showing over, 8,400 MBBS seats for the next session.
Okay.
But while that broadens access overall, it doesn't necessarily make getting into those top-tier government colleges any easier. They're still incredibly competitive. What this growth does show, though, is Haryana's commitment. They're serious about becoming a major medical education hub.
Right. Attracting talent, investment, the whole package. So with all these choices, let's break down the institutions. It seems really vital to understand the difference between government, government-aided, and private colleges. They have different vibes, different costs.
Totally different dynamics. Yeah. So the government medical colleges, these are usually the most sought after. Lower fees, often high prestige. We're talking places like PGIMS Rohtak, that's the Postgraduate Institute of Medical Sciences.
A big name.
Huge name. Then you have Bhagat Phul Singh, GMC, for women in Kanpur Kalan, Sonapat. Shahid Hassan Khan Mawadi, GMC down in Nalhar, New, KCGMC in Karnal. And ESIC Medical College in Faridabad. Those are sort of the benchmarks.
Okay. And then there's this sort of middle category, the government-aided one.
Exactly. Maharaja Agrasen Medical College in Agroha, Hisar. That's the key one there.
What does aided mean in practice usually?
Well, typically it means it gets some government funding. So the fees are often lower than purely private colleges, but maybe not as low as the full government ones. It occupies a kind of middle ground, which works well for a lot of students.
Makes sense. And the private sector, lots of names there too.
Oh yeah, quite a few. Yeah. You've got established players like SGT Medical College in Gurgaon, that started back in 2010. Then more recent ones like Adesh Medical College and Hospital, that was 2017. El Fala School of Medical Sciences, 2019. NC Medical College, 2016. World College of Medical Sciences, also 2016.
Okay.
NC Medical College in Panipat, specifically, that one's affiliated with BD Sharma University. And you can't forget MMU Mullana in Ambala. That's a deemed university, been around since 2003.
And each of those private ones adds 150 seats.
Pretty much, yeah. Adds up to 900 private seats just from those main ones. So a significant chunk of the total seats available.
All right. So you figured out maybe which colleges you're targeting. Now, the big one. How do you actually get in? We know NEET UG is the key, right? The gateway score for MBBS and BDS everywhere, including Haryana.
Absolutely. NEET UG is non-negotiable for undergrad medicine and dentistry. And just quickly, for postgrad, the MDMS courses. It's BD Sharma University in Rohtak that handles the centralized online counseling based on your NEET PG merit.
Okay, so focusing on MBBS BDS, what's the step-by-step process look like?
It's fairly standard, but you need to be precise. It starts with online registration. Then you pay a security deposit, again, online. After that, the merit list comes out.
Based on NEET scores.
Exactly. Then comes the crucial part, online choice filling. This is where your strategy really matters. And finally, seat allotment.
Okay.
But here's a really important point. The provisional online result you get, it's just that provisional. Your seat isn't truly confirmed until you go through physical verification with all your original documents. That's the final hurdle.
Ah, the document check. Always critical. But what if, say, you don't get the seat you wanted in round 1? Are you stuck?
Good question. No, you're not necessarily stuck. This is where round 2 comes in, and it's strategically vital. If you missed round 1 entirely or maybe didn't get a seat, you can do a fresh registration for round 2 for MBBS or BDS.
Okay, so you get another shot.
You do.
Yeah.
But if you did register for round 1, you don't need to re-register.
Yeah.
However, and this is key, you must explicitly state that you want to participate in round 2. It's not automatic.
You have to opt in again.
You have to opt in. And here's the real make or break point. The choices you fill, the courses, the colleges, the order you rank them, those are considered absolutely final once the deadline passes.
No changes after locking.
No editing after the last date specified.
Yeah.
So your choice filling needs serious thought up front. You need to consider your rank, the likely cutoffs, and be realistic, but also ambitious. It's a balancing act.
That's a critical piece of advice. Okay, and talking strategy, what about the money involved just for counseling, specifically for round 2?
Right, the counseling fees for round 2, they vary, and it signals your intent. If you're only aiming for government or government-aided medical colleges, the fee is RS, $25,000 for the unreserved category. It's half that, RS, $12,500 for the SC category.
Okay, initiable.
But if you want to keep your options open and include state quota seats in both government and private medical colleges, the fee jumps significantly. It's RS 2.0 lakh.
2 lakhs, just for counseling.
Well, it's technically a security deposit. If you get a seat, it's adjusted against your first-year fees. If you don't get any seat allotted, you get it refunded. But still, it's a hefty amount you need to have ready up front if you're considering private options too.
Definitely requires some planning. Okay, beyond fees, that document verification step sounds intense. What's on the must-have list?
It is intense, and being prepared is everything. You absolutely need your NEET UG result or scorecard, the provisional allotment letter you get after a round, your class 10th and 12th certificates and mark sheets originals.
Originals, right?
Definitely originals. Your NEET UG admit card, a copy of the online MBBS application form you submitted, your migration certificate from your previous board or university, valid ID proof, Aadhaar, passport, something official, recent passport-sized photographs, and of course any relevant caste certificates or PWD certificates if applicable.
Wow, quite a list.
It is. And I can't stress this enough, original documents for physical verification. No photocopies will cut it at that stage. Any missing original can derail your admission. Treat them like gold.
Sound advice. Just quickly, what about other healthcare paths like AWU-BAMS, BHMS, BUMS? Is there flexibility there too?
Yes, there is some flexibility. For those AWOH courses, Ayurvedic, homeopathic, Unani, Yani, the system often allows you to potentially change colleges in later counseling rounds, assuming seats are vacant. So there's a bit more movement possible there sometimes. It's a good alternative path for many within healthcare.
Good to know. Okay, let's face it, the biggest question for many families, the cost, the expense of actually studying MBBS in Haryana. What are the annual fees looking like for, say, the 2025-26 session? Let's break it down by college type.
Right, this is where things really diverge. Let's start with government medical colleges. Over the full 5 years, the total fees are roughly 4.2 lakh, total approximately. The annual fees are quite reasonable, starting around maybe Rs 80,000 first year, and then actually decreasing a bit each year. So very accessible financially, which is why they're so competitive.
Makes sense. What about the government-aided one, Maharaja Agrasen?
Okay, MAMC Groha. That's a step up in cost. Total fees over 5 years are around Rs 8.1 lakh. The structure there is typically a fixed annual tuition fee of about Rs 1.8 lakh for the first 4 years, and then it drops for the final half year. So it's that middle option, financially speaking.
Got it. And now, the private colleges, ADESH, NCE, World Medical College, places like that, what's the damage there?
Yeah, this is where it gets significantly more expensive. For those private colleges, tentatively for the 2025 batch, You're looking at a tuition fee starting around Rs 12.0 lakh per year for the first year.
12 lakhs annually.
Annually. And here's the really crucial part you have to budget for. There's usually an annual increase of about 7.5%.
Oh.
Yeah. So year 2 isn't 12 lakh, it's more like 12.90 lakh. Year 3 is higher again. That compounds. You need to calculate the total cost over 5 years, not just the first year's fee.
That's a massive difference, and that's just tuition, right? What about living expenses?
Exactly. On top of tuition, you have hostel charges, usually around Rs 75,000 a year. Mess charges, maybe Rs 1.25 lakh a year. Plus, there are often one-time refundable security deposits, could be Rs 2 lakh for the college, maybe Rs 40,000 for the hostel.
So the total first-year outlay for private could be significantly more than just the tuition fee.
Oh, easily. You need to factor in all those components to understand the true cost.
Okay. Beyond fees, there's this bond policy in Haryana for MBBS students in 2025. This sounds serious. What is it?
It is serious, and it's a big commitment. It's basically the state ensuring that the doctors it subsidizes, especially in government colleges, give back by serving in Haryana for a certain period after graduation.
So there's a financial penalty if you don't.
Exactly. The bond amount is substantial. For government medical colleges, it's around Rs 25.77 lakh for male candidates. For female candidates, it's typically 10% less, so around Rs 23.19 lakh.
Oh.
Yeah. And even for the government-aided college, MAMC Agroha, there's a bond. Around Rs 21.90 lakh for males and Rs 19.71 lakh for females.
That's a huge factor to consider for your future plans.
Absolutely. It ties you to serving in the state for usually a few years unless you pay the bond amount. It's a critical part of the deal, especially for government and aided seats.
Really highlights that connection between education and public service. And just quickly for context, what about postgraduate fees in private places?
Oh, that's another level entirely. Take SGT Medical College in Gurgaon, for example, an MD in radiodiagnosis. You could be looking at something like 45 lakhs per year for Indian candidates.
In a year.
Per year. And for NRI candidates, it's often quoted in dollars and much higher, be like $83,520 annually or more. So yeah, specialization comes at a very high cost in the private sector.
Okay, shifting back to getting that initial MBBS seat, let's talk NEET ranks and cutoffs. These numbers are everything, aren't they? And they change depending on the college, your category.
They absolutely define your chances. They are the currency, like you said. Looking at 2023 data gives us a good idea of the landscape. For a top government choice like PGIMS Rohtak, the open category cutoff in round 1 was around NEET rank 7331.
Pretty high rank needed.
Very competitive. Now compare that to another government college, ESEC Medical College in Faridabad. Their open category cutoff was even slightly higher, around rank 4917 in 2023.
So even between government colleges, there's variation.
Significant variation. It shows some are just that much more sought after or maybe have fewer open seats.
And I bet the ranges explode when you look at reserved categories or private colleges.
Exactly right. Let's take PGIMS Rohtak again. The SE category cutoff there was around NEET rank 63,199 in 2023, a much wider window, obviously. Now, flip to a private college like NC Medical College, Panipat. Their open category cutoff was way down around NEET rank 129,849 in 2023.
Huge difference.
Massive. And then you look at NRI quota seats.
Yeah.
Those can be all over the place. MM College in Sadapur had an NRI cutoff around rank 59,438 in 2023, but other private colleges might see NRI cutoffs going well past the 1 million rank mark.
Wow. So you really need to know the specific trends for the colleges and categories you're eligible for.
You absolutely do. Your rank dictates your realistic options.
Right.
Guesswork during choice filling based on rank is just not a good strategy.
Understood. These ranks really shape your path.
They are fundamental to your admission strategy, no doubt.
Now, while MBBS gets most of the attention, what about BDS, dentistry? Is the process similar in Haryana?
Yes, very similar. BDS admissions also run entirely through the NEET UG score and the same centralized counseling process. Haryana actually has quite a few dental colleges.
That's correct.
Well, there's the government one, PGIMS Rohtak, then several private ones, J.N. Kapoor DAV in Yamanagar, Yan Nayak and Pradadevi Lal in Sirsa, Swami Devi Dayal in Panchkula, PDM in Bahadragar, Sudha Rustagi in Faridabad, SGT in Gurugram, Yamuna Institute near Yamanagar. Quite a list.
So solid options for aspiring dentists, too.
Definitely. It uses the same NEET pathway, same counseling authority.
And we touched on AUH earlier, BAMS, BHMS, BOM. Just to reiterate, those are also options within Haryana's system.
Yes, absolutely. Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery, Homeopathic, Unani. These are offered. And admissions are typically handled through state counseling, often allowing that flexibility for college changes in later rounds if seats pop up.
It really shows the breadth of healthcare education available.
It does. It's not just MBBS. There's a whole ecosystem.
Okay, we've covered the nuts and bolts, admissions, fees, bonds, cutoffs. But what about life as a student? Our sources don't give us, like, diaries, but they mention facilities. What can we kind of infer from that about the day-to-day experience?
That's a great way to look at it. The facilities list, say for NC Medical College, tells a story, right? They mention sports, cafeterias, libraries.
Standard stuff, maybe.
Well, yes, but think about what it means. A good library suggests support for intense study. Cafeterias mean accessible food, which is crucial when you're that busy. Sports facilities offer a way to de-stress, which is vital in medicine. They even mention a 24-hour helpline.
Okay, that's interesting. Shows a focus on well-being.
I think so. And things like providing hostel facilities for both men and women with reasonable charges for accommodation and mess. That matters. They even noted no extra charges for fans and lighting in the hostel. It seems small, but it removes a tiny bit of financial worry.
Little things add up.
They do. And mentioning that postgrad students get stipends comparable to government rates, that shows they're supporting students even beyond the initial MBBS degree. It paints a picture of a supportive, if demanding, environment.
So it sounds like the infrastructure is there to help students cope with the academic pressure.
Exactly. It's about creating an environment where you can focus on becoming a doctor despite the challenges.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, it's clear that getting into MBBS in Haryana isn't simple. You've got to understand that open state policy, the different fee structures, the bond implications, nail those NEET ranks and cutoffs, and navigate that whole counseling process carefully.
Couldn't have said it better. It's definitely multi-layered. But maybe the key takeaway isn't just the complexity, but how knowing these details actually empowers you.
How so?
Well, all these things we discussed, the fees, the bonds, the cutoffs, the counseling rounds, that might seem daunting, like a confusing maze. But once you understand them, that maze becomes a navigable pathway.
Right.
It allows you, the student, the aspiring doctor, to make informed choices, smart choices, not just about which college, but about your whole future career, and maybe even how you contribute back. Think about it. How does Haryana's open policy, drawing talent from everywhere, potentially shape the future of healthcare, not just in Haryana, but maybe across India? It turns complexity into opportunity if you know how to approach it.